I think it's fairly clear what we're going to hear from President Biden. He's going to tout these new and strong economic numbers as evidence that his policies are working. We're going to hear about the American Rescue Plan, the $1.9 trillion package that the administration enacted last year, and we're going to hear about how that laid the groundwork for the progress we're seeing. Just to recap the numbers released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics at 8:30 this morning, while we await the appearance of President Biden, now more than 15 minutes late to the state dining room for his remarks. The number of jobs added in the country, and when we talk about the number of jobs added, we're talking about non-farm payrolls, was 467,000 jobs just in the month of January. Economists were only expecting about 170,000 jobs to be added. So that's a very strong number. As well, the number of jobs added in the month of December was revised sharply upward from 199,000 to 510,000. So that is two back-to-back months of very strong job creation. The unemployment rate has effectively held steady, ticking upward just by 1/10 of a percentage point from 3.9% to 4.0%. That is an unemployment rate that most presidents of the United States would covet. As well, the labor participation rate. This is the percentage of all adult Americans who are eligible to work and who are either actively employed or looking for work, ticked upward to 62.2%. It's better than it was in the month before. It still hasn't reached quite the peak number that President Trump reached in 2020 of 63%. But both of those figures are well below what we saw at the turn of the millennium when the labor participation rate was 67%. Wages grew in the month of January, up 23 cents on an average for hourly earnings for all employees. Again, this is non-farm payroll. And so the average hourly earnings for American workers is now a little bit above $31. Over the last 12 months, that's up 5.5%. There's our look at the state dining room in the White House and still the empty podium where we are expecting President Biden, his remarks scheduled for 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. All in all, with these strong economic numbers, the president is on a bit of a roll lately, despite those dismal job approval ratings that have him in the low 40s. He has a new opportunity to select a Supreme Court justice due to the announced retirement of Justice Breyer. There was the conclusion of this very successful raid in northwest Syria that took out perhaps the most wanted terrorist in the world, the leader of ISIS. And now we've had 2 strong months of job growth or job creation, despite the fact that the White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, earlier this week was seeking to lower expectations for this jobs report, telling us that the Omicron surge was prevalent in January, that a lot of workers were calling out sick, that as a result of that, according to the way these jobs numbers are calculated, that those absences would be counted as unemployment, and suggesting that there might be large losses, but quite the contrary. And so, you know, whenever the job news or the economic news is good, we hear from the president and his press secretary and his cabinet officers that it's all due to the White House policies. When the jobs numbers and the economic numbers are not good, we hear about external factors such as the pandemic and the supply chain, China, and even the weather. So that's what we would expect to hear from President Biden when he takes the podium in the state dining room, presumably shortly.
All right, Chief White House Correspondent James Rosen joining us live there moments away from that.